The Chicago Bears just made exactly the right move at the right time. They didn't wait even another hour after this morning press conference, and the Chicago Bears have fired head coach Matt Eberflus. I don't love to celebrate these things. I think Matt Eberflus is an admirable man, a good man, actually a good leader through a lot of his tenure, but these late game decisions, they have just caught up with him. And before this season, the Chicago Bears have never fired a coach during the season. That's something that the McCaskies, at least, seem to be a bit proud of. But here's another new experience. We have never had these coaching fiascos late in games happening over and over and over. So head coach Matt Eberflus, he's going to take that extra timeout he's had shoved in his pocket and kind of have a timeout this offseason before his next coaching assignment. And we're talking about a final minute just collapse. The Bears let about 25 seconds run off the clock instead of calling a timeout or making a decisive play call. End of the Bears' patience with him. So after that loss, Coach Eberflus is out, and we're looking at what a lot of us, including myself, wanted to see happen. Offensive coordinator Thomas Brown, he is going to take over as interim coach for the remainder of the season. And he's been incremental in this development of Caleb Williams. I think he's still going to have his hands all over the offense. He very well will be still calling the offensive plays. I'm not sure as of yet when filming this who is going to be brought in as the interim offensive coordinator. But look, we are looking at Thomas Brown being a coaching candidate this fall, actually this off season, leading into the 2025 season. He's going to be a top candidate to take over this head coaching position. What we want to avoid is having a first-time coach thrust into the job with no idea of how good he's going to be. Guess what? We get to kick the tires. We get a trial run and give Thomas Brown full control over this team. Kind of looking back, which is necessary. And then I'm going to move forward. You know, we're looking at these weird coaching decisions at the end of games. This Lions loss, this Hail Mary loss to the Washington Commanders, right? Caleb Williams struggling for most of his rookie season until offensive coordinator Shane Waldron was fired and out of playoff contention. But this is where the worm turned. This is where we started seeing a different offensive performance. And man, it's just too bad that our last memory of Coach Eberflus is just sad. Another game blown in the final seconds. So kind of looking at his tenure with us, his first season ended with a 3-14 record, kept his job. But I think that was him being brought on. And, you know, Poles, Warren saying, you know what, we're going to be in a total teardown. Are you okay with taking some knocks this first season? He's like, sure. But now we're looking at the following season, which is starting to get bad on his record. He started with a 2-7 record, but then we had Montez Sweat join the team. Eberflus rallied. We won 5 of our last 8 games. That saved his job. Just a fun stretch, but it was kind of damaging in the end because it enabled Chicago to say, hey, this team is on an upswing. We're going to keep them. Now we go to the 2024 season that we're in the midst of. Started 4-2. Some weak opponents helped with that record, but hey, we were flying high. And then after the bye week, it started to get nasty. Williams started to not look very good. The loss of the Commanders on a Hail Mary that came after the Bears just gave up enough yards to get Washington in range for the long throw. And that's actually a decision that even Washington's players were shocked that those extra yards were given up. Excuse me. It's like the Bears said, hey, have a free 15 yards as the clock ran down. Eberflus, in classic Eberflus fashion, said that, quote, it doesn't really matter that we did that. Another indictment. A couple weeks later, in position to beat Green Bay, settled for the field goal attempt, didn't try to advance the ball. And then you have the Packers scouting the Bears really, really well, knowing that Santos has a very low trajectory on his kicks. That gave him a shot at blocking it. And once again, Eberflus stood by that decision, not try to get any more yards. Then you have the overtime loss to the Minnesota Vikings. it looked like the Bears are getting better, but now this just embarrassing offensive loss to the Lions is just ridiculous, because we're looking at a quarterback who just fought back from 16-0, took a sack at the end, shouldn't have taken it right, but there was no blocking. I don't want to rehash all of these collapses. We all know they're real. We know last year's collapses were real, and I think this is just a situation that it is addition by subtraction. Kind of looking at his resume coming in, a defensive guru, right? Attention to detail. He stressed fundamentals at the beginning of this full-on rebuild. Hits principle, right? Hustle, intensity, takeaways, playing smart. And it really did a really good job. It reinvigorated this Bears defense. The Bears defense has played with an edge consistently. Top 10 defense in 2023. They should have been a top 5 this year in 2024, but just have seemed to regress as well. Let's talk about the off the field issues, because these were things that a lot of people aren't talking about anymore. But we're looking at 8 coaches have been fired from the time that he took over as head coach until he fired offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. That's 11 months after he hired Shane Waldron to replace failed coordinator Luke Getsy. And it's not just the Bears ruined or this was a bad situation for Luke Getsy. Same situation with the Raiders. He was fired pretty much immediately as well in this year's season. So 8 firings. And if you don't forget, this judge of character, these coaches being brought on. Defensive coordinator Alan Williams, if you remember, he was fired for inappropriate activity. Running backs coach David Walker, fired due to workplace incompetence, actually misconduct. Just not good. Then you have his records in a bunch of different areas. 5-19 record in 1-score games. Winless in road games on Sunday, won 2 games against NFC North teams. That's ridiculous. He won only 2 games against NFC North teams on the road. Just absolutely ridiculous. Loss on Thursday, just yesterday. End of game sequences, just cemented his fate. And timeout in his pocket. He's going to take that home with him. So kind of looking at this, I want to go through all these games, but it's almost like kicking a dead horse at this point. So I'm kind of looking at, what do we have to look forward to? We have Thomas Brown. We get a test run of who he's going to be as a head coach. I'm going to calm down. This is just so annoying that we've been through this, but let's work through this here. So let's be clear. The Bears' struggles. We have a lot to look forward to. It hasn't been because of Caleb Williams. He is absolutely real. Let's just look at what he's done against NFC North opponents this year. And this is also keeping in mind that the offensive coordinator, Thomas Brown, who's been instrumental in finding the key to Caleb Williams and getting him to pass and run efficiently, he's going to stay here, and he has a chance to audition for this head coaching position. So let's kind of look at the stats here. He's been 75 out of 117. That's 64.1% as a completion rate. 827 passing yards, 142 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He just in this last game set a record for most passing opportunities without an interception. He broke the rookie record for that. And a 98.8 passer rating. I had to bring all the stats up in my head. So picking it up recently, now that he has a capable head coach in place, I think the Bears are going to avoid these kind of embarrassing losses that have been an absolute sickness here. And Caleb Williams, he just has this unique ability to make plays out of nothing. It's time to translate this talent into victories, into a positive way forward. So let's see what Thomas Brown is capable of. I mean, we fired offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. We elevated Thomas Brown. Bears offense has been fully revitalized. Like I said, he just broke that rookie record. And Brown, he believes that Williams hasn't even come close to reaching his full potential. And this is what I like, and this is what he's voicing. And that's something that I think was being stifled under head coach Matt Eberflus. It's time to take the chains off. So let's look at what he directly said. At the end of the game, end of the half, he's delivered in a big way. And this is what I think sometimes goes unnoticed because of the end result. And this is from Coach Brown, which I get. But as a rookie quarterback who, in my opinion, has yet to scratch the surface of how good he could be, it's my job, my focus to continue to try and find ways to make him the best that he can be. And I think Coach Brown fully has the ability to unlock Williams' full potential. And now he's going to have the remainder of this season to prove himself as the interim head coach. And if he doesn't, there are going to be plenty of options for a new head coach here. And let's just kind of look at this. We've got the draft coming up. We've got Caleb Williams showing that he's going to be a superstar. It's going to be thanks to Matt Eberflus's inability to win. The Bears now hold a likely top 15 draft pick, and that's huge. Young, talented roster, team poised for improvement, especially after the offseason. And here's another wonderful thing to look forward to. The Bears are going to have $82 million in cap space. That's going to allow them to address crucial needs. Please do the offensive line this time, and also through the draft. 3 picks in the first 2 rounds of the 2025 NFL draft. We are still looking at a team that the potential is absolutely limitless for this team. And with a new head coach, the future is going to look bright for this franchise. And I'm going to be an eternal optimist here. I think it's addition through subtraction. I'm not saying that Thomas Brown is the answer, but I'm certainly looking forward to us actually getting the next coach in the one of the higher possibilities of hire. We're going to be able to give him a test run here at Hallis Hall. So you guys let me know what you think. Obviously the right move here. Some of you might think that it's not. Some of you think that it should be Thomas Brown still just concentrating on the offense and keep Flus in. I fully disagree. We need to see what we have. So you guys bear down. Thank you for watching as always, and we'll talk soon. See ya.